Hello adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have something super exciting planned for us. We're actually visiting the McCormick-Stillman Railroad Park. Now we are in the Scottsdale area and this is about to be super fun. It is absolutely a beautiful day and a perfect day for exploring. Okay guys, they do have a map here that has a QR code, so to do that you just hover and then click on the link and there it is. Okay guys, we just made it inside and oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I love trains and being able to see the various aspects of trains here in the Scottsdale area is super exciting, but there's a couple things you should know before you come out here. The park itself is absolutely free. There's some history here. There's also a couple of different features that we're going to be doing, including a train ride. Now the train ride is only $3 a person. It takes you kind of around and you can see here on the map kind of what the track looks like as a whole, where it goes and kind of what you can see. So I'm really excited about that. And we're going to be doing that in just a few minutes, but until then, let's see what else we can find. Now this is why I enjoy coming to places like this. You get an up-close look at some of the most spectacular things, and here you have life-size railroads that take you on a journey. Now this is interesting because it looks as though you can actually go inside of this one. I don't know if we can go into it today, but we're about to find out. And it's next to this depot that has some antiques and relics from the past that you might have found in the heyday of when this train line was going. In fact, this train depot right here was actually the Peoria train depot, and Peoria is the area of town in which we like to stay for our free campsite. The Peoria train depot was constructed in 1895 at a cost of only $1,455 by the Santa Fe, Prescott, and Phoenix Railway Company. The wooden frame structure served as an agricultural and ranching interest for all the people in the Peoria area, and it actually was in commission until 1972. This location was selected because it allowed them to have a centralized place for a lot of the agricultural interests to be able to board and offload supplies and take them to different places also, or bring them into the community. Now after it was decommissioned, this structure, believe it or not, was moved here in 1974 as they took it apart piece by piece and then reconstructed it here on the park property, which is super cool. Now it serves as a Scottsdale Railroad Museum and we can actually go inside. I'm super excited about this one. Now the best thing about places like this is you can actually get some information that you might not have otherwise. For example, this talks about each member of the train crew, including the engineer, the conductor, the brakeman, and also the fireman. Now guys, the best part about places like this though is you get to put together different puzzle pieces. For example, here you get to learn a little bit more about one of the famed mayors of this area, and in fact this was Mayor Herb Drinkwater's Model A Ford pickup truck right here in front of us. It says here that Mayor Drinkwater's 1929 Model A has been in storage at the family's residence for over 20 years before it made its way here, and so now we're getting to see something that was pulled out and shared with us as a result. Now this original vehicle right here would have been about $385 for a roadster, or $1,400 for a top of the line model at the time. So that's a very big difference between car prices now. Also, right next to this, can you name these tools? These are all tools that are used to work on the railroad. Don't worry, if you can't, they do have a little thing right here to help you learn a little bit more about it. In fact, each one of these items is numbered, and you can find the corresponding number below it. And of course, the history of the museum is the main drawing point. But in addition to the history that you find here, you find some interesting nuggets. For example, there's a picture of the former mayor alongside Roosevelt's son. He came here to visit in 1989 and wanted to stand on the very car that we're going to tour in just a few moments because it's a presidential car where his father had delivered a speech. So this has a lot of history here. Very good stop for us. And again, absolutely free, which is super, super cool. Believe it or not, this is a brass colored metal vase that was made from an artillery shell from World War I. And do you see what I found? I found the bunny. Yep. These are actually pieces that were at one point in time used in some of the trains. They were little napkins. Okay, here we learn a little bit more about the actual train that we were just looking at, and it has had many lifetimes. You can see here there is a time schedule here that brought it to many of its jobs, including as it was used as a train to transport copper for a copper company. I love that we can also find all of these cool pieces from train history, and this is Great Trains of the West from 1950s to 1960s. We also get to learn a little bit more about telegraphs and how that they would use Morse code. Now, this is what the little telegraph machines would have looked like, and you would have tapped them in a series of longs and shorts in order to make a message. Now, the first telegraph office was actually out at the Mormon Church in Pipe Springs, and it was established in 1871, believe it or not. Now, there is a little bit more to this room to see, so I'm going to leave this for you guys because I want to leave a few mysteries, especially about this car, which is on exhibit, and you can find this on property also. We're about to go into a presidential car. Yes! But before we do, check out this building. This is actually the first machine shop in the Scottsdale area, and inside here you can find a variety of different things that were all in use at any given time that would have made a difference in the mechanics of these big guys that we're about to look at. Now, a cool fact about this particular machine shop is that the guy who was behind this, Mr. Walter Lee Gay Brooks, he was actually contracted during the war, World War II, to start creating parts for the B-29 bombers right out of this very shop. Now, this building was acquired and moved here just like this one was, and actually was brought here in 1973 and has been telling the stories of the machines that are inside and what they contributed for quite some time. This is just such a cool place, guys. But now it is time. We are going to go inside of this huge piece right here and walk back in time. Now, this piece was built in 1928, believe it or not, and it's still standing here for us to see today, which is a testament to its structure and also preservation. So with that said, let's go find out what treasures it has inside. Wow, wasn't expecting this at all. I was thinking it was just going to be like a train where we could walk through it, but no, more displays. This is awesome, including the conductor and some of the baggage back here. You can see they have big trunks, a few leather cases, some very interesting antiques right here. But there's so much more ahead, so let's go get some more brain wrinkles. Did you know that there were 4 large companies who made the Transcontinental Railway happen? In fact, in here we learn a little bit more about each part of that. And it's pretty fascinating to see all of the different pieces that went into each step of the way. But not only do we get to learn about the big 4, we also get to learn about all of the moving parts in between, including the Harvey girls. A Harvey girl would make about $17.50 a month, and they were considered the best of the best in hospitality. They were wholesome girls. They were told not to wear extravagant amount of makeup. They had a uniform which made them seem like the girl next door, and they were there to welcome those who were tired and weary from the road. Harvey houses offered beverages and food to all of those that were traveling, as well as a smile. Nothing non-wholesome there. just good, clean fun. Now, the Harvey girls were a conception of Fred Harvey. Harvey was a mogul who created lots of destinations for people to travel to. He would have hotels along rail lines so that people could stop off and have a nice place to stay for the night, and also someone who made them feel like they were at home. He made it a point to tell the girls that he didn't want to be like the floozies of the past. He wanted it to be like the girl next door who was kind and gentle and offered a friendly smile not only to the men but also the women so that everyone would feel comfortable. And in the meantime, he made a fortune. See, from the time that they created the transcontinental railway so that they could ship goods and services, it shifted. It shifted into travel for fun and tourism. And as it did, things got nicer and nicer on passenger cars like the one we're on. At any given time, you could find passenger schedules with lots of itineraries for fun things. And this brings us to another exciting stop, the Orient Express. And from that point, you land on the Orient Express. From 1883 to 1950, this was considered the top of the line for rail movement. Now, the presidential cars were very similar to that of the luxury cars of the Orient Express. So as we move into this section, we learn a little bit more about the people who would have had that idea. Aha, this is what I was expecting to see in the other one. This is a traditional car. This is what you would have looked at and seen for the passageways as you were going through one of these. It's pretty interesting. You have small doors, you have a little pass-through right here, and that takes you into a small kitchen/dining area. That's pretty traditional for these. On the other side, there is yet another one, and notice there is tons of storage in here from ceiling to floor. Every inch counts. Inside here we have the cook's quarters. Notice they did have switches so they could control all of the lights like a traditional home. But wow, talk about nice. This is beautiful. In fact, this dining car, it has a little divider wall so you can't touch anything, but you can see all of the luxurious look to it. The fine china, the beautiful wood all around you. Everything looks intricate and like it's very nice and high-end, as opposed to some of the passenger trains where it was more cramped quarters for the average everyday person. But there's something else over here I wanted to show you. There is a strange man at the end who looks like he doesn't fit down this hall. In fact, that's how narrow it is. Brock is struggling to stand without touching both sides. This is a photo of several of the important women in the Republican circles that were visiting at the time and actually had something to do with this very car. In fact, you can see them posed in this very room. In fact, you can even find what kind of food might have been on the menu here. This looks like it's a quarters that has bunk beds in it. Nothing super exciting, but it does give you kind of an idea as to what you might have been staying in. That would have been connected to this, which would have been like a little seating area. Another bunk bed area with a dresser and a small chair. And this is potentially the most interesting. This is what the bathroom looks like. Now, just for a size reference, this is less than 4 feet across. Now in here they also have a letter from Ronald Reagan and something from the Prime Minister of Canada, like right here. You can find various presidential portraits on the walls, including some that might look a little familiar that I'll show you in just a moment. But in this portion of the car, they have more of a loungy area with a nice big comfortable couch and some comfortable loungers in here. And then they also have a couple of other things that I want to show you real quick. You can see there's little spots to turn on and off the air conditioner, but you can also open and close the windows here. And then they do have these pull down shutters also, so you can close everything off. Now, something that I think is kind of interesting are their speakers overhead, so you can actually pipe music back here. That's really cool. It's like radio. And then as we move outside, you are literally standing on the back of this car. And you can just imagine a president standing here waving as he takes off into the distance, or even giving a speech, which happens to be the case with this particular car. Look, we found Brock. Brock, I'm glad to see you got out of the hallway. It's pretty narrow.
I'm ready for my presidential speech now.
Okay, Australian presidential speeches. Should we give him a chance? So that was super cool. Not what I expected to find whenever I came here. In fact, I think this next building that I want to go into is more of what I saw online that piqued my interest. So all of this has just been added bonus. So many great brain wrinkles. I'm so excited. And I'm glad you guys came with us today. Now, a fun fact that we learned over in the little depot area that I'm going to share with you guys. In that little section that I said you have to come here yourself to read all of it, there was a little story that actually goes along with this guy right here. Believe it or not, at one point in time, this was given as a gift of friendship to the people of Arizona. In fact, one of these was sent to each state, and it was like a gift from France. And unfortunately, somewhere along the way, things got messed up, and this thing was abandoned in a field and all but forgotten. At some point in time, however, they kind of went back out and found this guy, opened it up, and realized it was filled with cool stuff that were also gifts from France. And now they have it here on display for us to be able to see this really amazing gift of friendship. It just goes to show that some people in certain instances will neglect, because of whatever scenario is going on, to realize the importance of something. But that doesn't mean that somebody down the line won't scoop it up and say, wow, this is living proof. We now are entering into the model railroad building. Now, this building right here is what really brought me to this site, because inside is a very impressive model railroad. Now, I've been to several across the country. I've been to Tiny Town. I've been to the massive one that is up in Colorado. And today I thought we have to go here and just check it out. I'm fascinated by the scale models and how they're able to convey life in such an interesting way. So let's go inside and check it out. Now, starting off, we start off with the different scales. All of them are represented in this particular display, but all of them are also in this specific display. So you can see the different sizes, and then also some of the really cool things that are in store for us. But right over here, you can see the various scale models that are featured, all the way from Z all the way to this guy, which is a G scale. This entire display is actually maintained by local railroad clubs, model railroad clubs. And so when we see this, this means that somebody has intricately gone in and purposefully placed each and every piece and made sure that the accuracy was there for the depiction that they are creating. So that's pretty cool. I'm very interested to see how they incorporate all the different scales into this single exhibit, however. This should be pretty cool. Oh my goodness, I really like this. Look at this. So they have interactive pieces where you can actually touch the little hands, and it tells you what it controls. So in this case, we could touch this, and it supposedly is going to control the water tower. There it is right there. It's moving now. You can see it. That's really neat. Do you hear that? That's so neat. So each interaction shows you a piece of how the railway would have been used in some capacity, with that one showing how it would have been filled up with the water and how then the water would have been transported somewhere else. But this next one says Lower Mountain. Let's go find out what happens. Okay, we push our thing, it turns red. Oh wow, it made the train start moving. Do you see that? There it goes. Huh. That's cool. I am really loving this. This is gonna be a fun trip through here. There it is again, popping right back up. Now additionally, they have little facts like this. The steam shovel that built the Panama Canal looked like this. It was a 77 Buckarus, and it was a 95-ton steam shovel, and it was part of what built the Panama Canal. So that's pretty cool. They also do have this in honor of the Prescott group that actually passed away June 30th, 2013. We learned about this over at the Fire Museum. And here you have a display of what a fire would look like. And so this is put here to honor those people. I think displays like this are not only relevant, but super important because they teach kids through an interactive way, as well as us adults, how things happen. And it kind of starts conversations so that we can have conversations that are serious in maybe a more lighthearted way to kind of start planting the seeds of teaching and things like that. Of course, we love brain wrinkles here on the channel, so that is a big win in my book. Guys, I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but there's always growing and room for even more. So right now they're planning their next community in this corner. And over on that side over there, we actually found a donation bucket. So if you would like to chip in and be a part of this awesome and amazing piece right here, you can do so through your contributions. Okay, here's the upper mountain. So let's turn on the sensor and, oh, there it goes. We're gonna see it coming out of this tunnel in just a moment. Where is it? It's coming. It's gonna come over and it's gonna come through this and then it's gonna come out and park like right about there. There it is. It's a logging train right there. Well, this is kind of fun. As you move from one set to the next, they have like little pieces that integrate them, like this bridge here, but then you'll end up using a completely different set of textiles to create the cool stuff. So here we have cactus brick, and this is looking like it's using Legos to create a Jurassic World, but it also has a train going around it. Guys, do you notice anything? We're on the movies, and it's a drive-in. Hi! Of course, inside there are some historic features like Old Arizona that actually shows you something that kind of looks like what it would have been like in the Wild Wild West. And there are even little stops like this where it shows you how they built each one of these setups. I think it's really cool to be able to see not only what we see today, but also what it took to get here. This is very neat. Now, another thing that is super neat is being able to see kind of behind the scenes. Now, we go around and there are like 3 separate setups here that you can walk kind of around each one with the glass so you don't touch anything. But inside, the inner workings in here is where they really make the magic happen. And you can see some of the switcher boards and some of the things that they use to actually make everything move right from the area that you're able to stand, which is really, really cool. So it gives you kind of a glimpse into not only the world that you see, but also the magic behind what you see. And I really like that. Now, I did get to go behind the scenes at one of the places that had one of the largest model railroads in the United States, and it was absolutely awesome. So getting these little glimpses like this is really me geeking out right now. It's just kind of cool, guys. It's really, really cool. Now, typically a visit to a place like this could take all day long because you're looking at each intricate detail, but this is only one part of this massive park that has all sorts of cool stuff with history and then also brand wrinkles and then fun for everyone. And again, this is completely free. I can't believe it. This is epic. And I could spend a whole day just here, but we have more things to do. So I'm going to show you a couple more things as we make our way up the stairs and down this long hallway right here, back toward where we came in. And then I'll show you some more cool stuff when we get outside. As we arrive at the Maricopa building, this is actually a park history museum. So inside we go. This is really cool, guys. We have everything from park events to the individual railways that they have here to the evolution of the McCormick Ranch. And you can see kind of some different pieces of the history here and how it all came to be, which is absolutely awesome. Now, I love the fact that on each one of these posters, they have photos so you can visualize what they're talking about. It kind of walks you through history in a very user-friendly way, and through each piece they tell you a little bit more of the story, and you can go in chronological order so it makes sense. But they also have this, which is actually Guy Stillman's formal Navy uniform. And he is who the park is apportionately named after. I really enjoy the fact that they've incorporated so many different pieces of the local history here into this one tiny building, and how you can see not only the uniform, but the man himself right there. Now, this is one of my favorite walls, though. The McCormick Railroad Park from 1981 to 1996. There are historic photos that show you the different outer structures, what the park looked like, and then also the train, which, by the way, we're going to ride in just a few minutes. But it also shows you them delivering some of the pieces that we're seeing today before they were in their beauty that they are now, and some of the local faces enjoying the park for the first time. In addition, there's an entire wall about not only the McCormicks, but also the Stillmans. It tells you why both of those names are associated with this park. It just goes to show that there's a lot of layers to this one single place, and by providing the history as well as the retreat for a lot of people, it gives them a lot of different opportunities to learn, to have fun, to relax, to feel safe, and then also just to kind of unwind a little bit. This place is open till about 6 or 6:30 every day, and they also do some cool events here, like concerts in the park. They do a Halloween and a Christmas thing, and so it's a really big deal here in the Scottsdale area. So it's really fun to come and be able to see it for the first time. But there's more. Okay, we're gonna wrap up today's video by taking a ride around the park. Now, this was $3, and it kind of has some different perspectives and views. Plus, during various times of the year, they also decorate this trail, so I'm super excited. goodness, guys, that was super fun. It's just a small track, but it gives you kind of a different view of the area, which is really neat. But now we're pulling back into the depot, and that's gonna wrap us up here, I guess. Okay guys, that's gonna do it for us here today at the train park. I had such a good time. I'm glad that I found this. This is just one of the many attractions that you can find in the Phoenix area. Now again, this is over in Scottsdale, and it is a beautiful location, tons of tree coverage, lots of water fountains around, so this could be used year round. They do special programs throughout the year, and I definitely think that you should come out here because, well, it's absolutely free unless you want to ride one of the rides. I do recommend spending the $3 to ride the little train around. It's just a cool experience. And guys, like I always say, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time. Till next time, guys. Bye.